think we're going to get into some gigantism here.
We're going to get into some gigantism. The Giants this past weekend were the first team to reach 50 games.
Yeah, and they're kind of stuck there now.
We're into the next weekend, and the Giants are still at
50 wins.
Yes, I'm sorry, I said games. Jesus, 50 wins. So I was very excited. I did kind of say, the Giants are probably going to be the first team to 50 wins. That wasn't going out in a stretch. I think I said it at 48. So they did it. They did it, and then they ran into the Dodgers, and in a short 2-game series, and it was a great Dodgers Giants series. 1-run, 2-run games, but the Dodgers won both of them. What happened with the Giants again is you had Yastrzemski had to leave the game early, another injury, but it was only a few days. He was back in the lineup yesterday, but he fouled a ball off his shin, went back in the outfield and couldn't really go, so they took him out of the game. So Tushan came in to back up, which is fine because he makes some incredible catches out there. But then while he was playing out there, he ended up getting injured. So again, injuries continue to plague the Giants. They've been able to win a lot, 50 games with all the injuries they sustained. But I think the Dodgers are kind of surging now. There may be some stuff we cover later that may affect that a little bit, but they lost 2 to the Dodgers. And then last night, who they pretty much kind of like the Sox have done with the lower end of their division. They normally just kind of beat up on the Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks won last night 5-3. So you start to get a little worried because they've lost 4 in a row now since they got to 50 wins.
I think you get worried because we didn't see this coming, and we're kind of marveling at it the whole time. So when you see any cracks in the armor, you're kind of worried that they're revealing their true selves.
And let's be honest here with the teams in this blog, in this vlog, in this podcast, I'm just saying it could be called all those things, but in this podcast, the only teams, there's 3 teams that have performed as we thought: the Sox, the A's for the most part, and the Tigers. The Cubs and Giants are the anomaly here. And we just talked about the Cubs, and it isn't far-fetched to think that I could be having the same conversation in another week, because when you're in a division with teams like the Dodgers and the Padres, who the Padres have sort of been like up and down over the last month. I mean, June's been a kind of a tough month on all teams.
Yeah.
On this podcast, but it is I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a different conversation that heads into the All-Star break, but we'll see. I mean, again, like you said, it's you don't expect them to be here. So when you get into a 4-game losing streak, you kind of start to panic. The bright spot about Tushan going down is Jaylin Davis, who they got in a trade from the Twins for Sam Dyson back in 2019. He's still considered a rookie. He's had only like a handful of games at the pro level. Went down with an injury in spring training that ended him on the 60-day DL, but he was he had a rehab stint, and he's kind of like a Byron Buxton type of player, power and speed. In his 57 plate appearances in AAA, he had 7 homers, 4 doubles, 8 walks, a 1.172 OPS. So they called him up. He pinch hit last night, didn't do anything with that, but he'll probably be in the starting lineup today. So I'm kind of excited to see him play. So he could be one of those surprises that helps get the Giants sort of back on track. So we'll see what happens. It could be an interesting conversation next week on here, though, that it could be a little bit similar to the Cubs, because there's a chance that the Giants could be staring up in 3rd place at 2 teams that on paper are definitely way better than the Giants. But in the earlier part of the week, we had kind of a little rivalry here. The Giants played across the bay in
The
Oakland.
Bay Bridge series, they
the
call
Bay
it.
Bridge series, and the Giants took the first 2 games, one in extra innings, 6-5, that was game 2, and then to start off the 4-game losing streak, the A's just kind of disposed of the Giants easily, 6-2 in that final game of the series. But it was a pretty fun series overall, and when the Giants took the first 2, I'm like, man, they are just unstoppable right now. Maybe not. So